Good morning. My name is Dr. Douglas Scarata, and I had a lovely patient the other day, and I shared a little story with her, and then she asked whether or not that she could share this story with other people, and I thought perhaps if I shot a video, it'd make it easy to do so. So as I mentioned, I'm a physician. I'm an ear, nose, and throat doctor. I specialize in the nose. And through my journey to get to where I am, I've had lots of different friends who are other physicians, scientists, and so on and so forth. And as you can imagine, it has come up before, how can you be a Christian and be a scientist? How could they go together? And I'm going to walk you through my conversations as simply as I can. I basically would ask those people, if you don't mind me asking, I'd like to ask you how you could not be a Christian when you see the evidence that we have before us. And they say, tell me more. And I basically say this. Let's assume that we're on a road trip and we're driving through the United States, and we drive by a place called Mount Rushmore. And for those of you who don't know Mount Rushmore, it's a mountainside where they've carved the images of famous people, presidents, into the side of a mountain. It's impressive, I'm told. I've never seen it. It's not easy to get there, so you gotta understand it's not an easy sight to see even for an American. But we drive by there, and I basically say to my friend, wow, look at that mountain there. Isn't it amazing what a cajillion years of rain and wind and snow can do? It almost looks like 4 famous presidents. To which my friend would say, well, that's not logical, because we all know what a cajillion years of wind and rain does to things. It might do the Grand Canyon. It might do the Cascade Mountain Range, but it doesn't do that. I know that had been done with something with intelligence. That was done by something with intelligence, because it wasn't by accident. And I think most people would say, yep, that's a pretty logical conclusion. Then you turn to the Golden Gate Bridge. And I don't have the facts. I should get them. Maybe I'll include them in this video. But it took 10 plus years to build, and it cost 30 or 40 lives of people who died building it. And it was considered to be an engineering feat that they were able to build the Golden Gate Bridge. The details of the Golden Gate Bridge maybe aren't the most important part of this. What may be more important is, in fact, the fact that it took a lot of effort and energy to do that. Now, imagine that you could build a Golden Gate Bridge in 30 seconds, and it was done perfectly with no one dying, and you do that 10,000 times a day. Just to put it in perspective, what would it take to make that happen? And yet, that very same thing happens in your body. Thousands of times a day, every time a cell divides. If you could write down on a piece of paper all the steps that need to occur perfectly every time for a cell to divide, it would be more than what it took to build the Golden Gate Bridge. It does it in just a short period of time. 1 cell becomes 2. If it's not done perfectly, you die because you get cancer. So you can imagine, if I'm sharing this with another doctor or a scientist or research, I did research for a couple of years, they would buy into all that logic. And so the conclusion, I would say at this point, is that let's all safely say that our existence on this planet is not just by probability and chance, but because of something with intelligence putting us here. And so let's conclude that much at least. So we owe it to ourselves. To ask, do we know, are we aware of what that thing of intelligence was that made us come to this planet? And either it's unknown and we can never know, or maybe we do know. And so I would say if you looked at the Bible, you'd want to look at it with a critical eye. Don't just accept it like Santa Claus. Frankly, I think Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, does Christianity a disservice because it makes it out to be like, oh, look at this big prank we're pulling. And this is no prank. Oh, it's no prank, the Bible. If I were to try to make something up and create some kind of a farce, I couldn't have written that. I mean, it's when they say it's a living Bible, to understand, to explain that to another scientist, it means that you could read it today and you could have immediate meaning towards your life. I mean, seriously, you know what? I'll digress. I think this video is going to end here, but I'm going to go off to hitting meaning I got today, just to give you an example. But before I do, I want to conclude that we are not here by accident. We are here because something of intelligence brought us into existence. And for those of you who read the Bible with an open mind and an open heart, there's not hate in the Bible, it's love. But it's kind of like a good father. If you're a good father, try to be a good father. Sometimes you're not doing what's popular or favorable. Sometimes you have to do hard things too. But I'd feel terrible if my kids judged me based on, these are all the things that my dad said I couldn't do and I wanted to do it and he wouldn't let me do it. And therefore he's terrible, instead of focusing on, he did what he did out of love because he cared about us and he wanted us to be the best versions of ourselves. And I am not perfect, whereas God is. I am not perfect, and so I will have made mistakes, but at least my kids who have a relationship with me believe it was all well intended. Look at the Bible that way. So there you have it. My patient asked me, she really asked me, she shared with me she's a Christian, and I don't push myself on people. I'm not able to do that. I'm a kind, good person, a good physician, but I'm not preaching to my patients because, well, we're not supposed to do that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to share with her that I actually think from a scientific standpoint, there's a case for Christ. Hope that helps.